Bennett. It's time to find out in Game 5 here on Fox. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Fox's continuing coverage of the American League Championship Series. Alongside Eric Karros and the White Sox two-time All-Star catcher A.J. Pierzynski, I am Chris Rose. And, guys, look behind us. That's sunshine.
That is sunshine. The only thing not sunny is my prediction of the Tigers in 6 games. Not so good right now.
No, but you know, this game is all about adjustments. You can make an adjustment now. You can get on that Texas bandwagon.
I'm not going to get on that bandwagon. I'm going to say Tigers in 7 now. That way they got to win 3 in a row.
So that means you expect to have Justin Verlander win today.
If Justin Verlander could pitch 3 days in a row, I'd want that. But the problem is Justin Verlander on the mound. Who else would the Tigers want but him on the mound with their season on the line? The only thing is no Benoit, no Valverde, according to Jim Leland today. Ron Washington, I think, summed that statement up best. The only way they're keeping those two guys out of this game today is chaining them to the bullpen wall. I expect if they have a lead tonight in the 8th and 9th inning, Verlander has pitches up, they're going to find a way to get in that game.
Well, and you talk about bullpens. Look, at when you speak about the Texas Rangers, you have to speak about Alexi Ogando. We asked Ron Washington prior to the game. He is available for a hitter and as much as an inning. So C.J. Wilson, his job, get the ball to that vaunted Rangers bullpen.
And Texas is this close to becoming the first American League team in a decade to make it the back-to-back World Series. All right, coming up, there is no margin for error for the Tigers ace. Will Justin Verlander dominate? And can C.J. Wilson finally pick up that first win of the postseason and advance?
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Come on. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
They are rocking here in Motown. Coming up, Detroit's ace needs to come through to extend its season, and a little help from that Tigers offense would be helpful as well. Meanwhile, the Rangers are one win away from reaching the promised land. After a break, we'll get you up to the booth with Joe and Tim. Home of the Detroit Tigers, and right now, let's send it upstairs and say hello to Joe Buck. Hi, Joe.
And I'll say hello right back. Hi, Chris, and welcome to that broadcast booth. I am Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming right up. Well, these games have been so good, so tight, so intense. The Tigers could make the case that they should be the team up 3-1 with a series of breaks going their way. However, right now the Tigers are on the verge of being eliminated on home soil. But the good news for them, with the Rangers up 3-1, is Tim McCarver, they get a chance to hand the ball not just to their best, but to baseball's best, Justin Verlander, here today.
And in a perfect Tiger world, Jim Leland telling us that 100-mile-per-hour fastballs early are bad signs for Justin Verlander. What he likes to do is start off slowly, finish with a flourish, and of course you've got to have a cooperative lineup on the other side. But as we've seen, the Rangers don't cooperate with every opposing pitcher.
Yeah, and I'll say this, there is no number 7 hitter in baseball that's any less cooperative than Nelson Cruz who's got to be one of the best number 7 hitters in the history of the postseason.
Well, I mean, most lineups, you bob and weave through the lineups, and then you get to the bottom of the order and you figure, well, I've got a little reprieve. Not with the Rangers. Then you put Nelson Cruz on the other side of the ball, and this is what happened. Last night, bottom of the 8th inning, go-ahead run on at third base. Perfect throw, great play by Mike Napoli, and Miguel Cabrera is out. The game goes to the 11th, and of course the Rangers win it.
So we've got 4 games in the books. Game 5 coming up next. For game 5, it is cloudy, although the sun tries to break through. The lights are already on. It's too much light. The lights, the sun, it's 4:15, 4:20, whatever it is. And here come the Tigers. While they take the field, we'll remind you today's opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Well, if you like baseball, heck, if you like sports, you should want to watch Justin Verlander with his team's back up against the proverbial wall, showing what he can do here today. The Taco Bell starting lineup for Texas brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the box. No surprises. Kinsler, Andrus, and Hamilton. Michael Young, the DH. Adrian Beltre, Mike Napoli, Nelson Cruz, who's hit all 4 of the Texas home runs in this series. Then Murphy and Moreland, and there are the numbers this postseason. After a 24-win season with his 28-year-old right-hander Justin Verlander.
And Joe, there are many reasons why he won 24 games and lost only 5, leading the Tigers in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. Only the second Tiger to do that. Hal Newhouser did it back in 1945. Justin Verlander is not just a hard thrower. He has an excellent curveball, an excellent changeup. He moves the ball around. He's very smart. He stays ahead. And again, as we said in the opening, what Jim Leland would like to see is to see Verlander start off early or slowly and end with a flourish. When he's at his best, that's what he does.
Take a look at the defense for Detroit. In the outfield, Delman Young, Austin Jackson, Ryan Rayburn, left to right. Around the infield, it's Inge, Peralta, Santiago, Cabrera, and the catcher is Avila. He's caught throughout this postseason for Detroit. Home plate umpire today, Jeff Nelson. Joined by Tom Hallion at first, Tim Welke at second, Larry Vanover is over at third. Jim Wolf down the left field line, and Field and Culbreth, who worked the plate last night. A long day at the ballpark, is out in right. The Texas Rangers want to make Verlander work. They want to see a lot of pitches. They want to get his pitch count up. They want to stay aggressive. But with the Detroit bullpen right now as thin as it is, it's all on Verlander today for the Tigers. Strike one.
The problem with that, making him get his pitch count up, is that he throws a lot of first pitch strikes. So in the process of getting his pitch count up, you fall behind in the count. And that's not good.
Missing down and away. So Jim Leland fought the urge to have Verlander set up for games 1, 4, and 7, thinking that Justin needed more rest. Here he is on normal rest after a short outing in game 1 because of the rain. That is strike 2. Kinsler, Andrus, and Josh Hamilton. Anybody gets on Michael Young. Breaking ball is hammered down toward the corner. Young gets to it. Kinsler will test him, and it's a leadoff double. Ian Kinsler, the last couple of games, has been all over the place, and right now he's at second with nobody out.
Well, doubles and triples are spawned out of the box. If you run hard out of the box, that gives you the opportunity to take the extra base, and Kinsler does that. Again, hard out of the box. I tell you, if more major leaguers could do that, there'd be a lot more doubles and triples.
I don't know if you caught the stat as Andrus digs in. We just flashed it up for a moment. But the last 4 starts for Verlander compared to the previous 4, the numbers are pretty drastic. Verlander looks at Kinsler back at second. The last 4 starts, he's 1-1, an ERA of 5.85, and look at the difference between those 4 and the previous 4 at the end of a long 2011. Bunt is back to the screen, strike 1.
Good strategy by Ron Washington, trying to score an early cheap run on Verlander. I'll tell you what will be interesting in the early part of the game. If the Rangers get a runner on at third and less than 2 outs, I think Jim Leyland will prefer to play the infield in. Stop them immediately from scoring early.
Elvis Andrus so far 3 out of 15 in this LCS. We're in on the corners, runner at second, nobody out. And Andrus is proving that not only is Verlander tough to hit, he's tough to bunt. Strike 2. There aren't many in the category of a cheap run against Justin Verlander.
Excellent point.
Only 1 win in his last 5 postseason starts.
Yeah, 2 of those starts, however, were rain-delayed starts and messed up. To me, you can't count those. I know you do, but you can't.
Nothing in 2 the count. Back up on the corners. And a pitch up and in 93 from Verlander. And if you haven't seen much of Justin Verlander while he's throwing low to mid-90s in the early innings, as Tim has talked about, he has the ability late to empty what he's got left and throw in the upper 90s, even touch 100.
I think what was good on the first and second pitch, trying to bunt and then going in the hole, is not good on the third and fourth pitch. I think you've got to swing the bat here and not bunt. Too many bad things can happen trying to bunt in this situation with 2 strikes.
Counts 2-2. In that first game, the one that was rain delayed twice, Verlander hit 97 6 times in the first inning. Bothered by Kinsler. Back at second base. It was a 25-pitch first inning. Kinsler took a breaking ball and hammered it down into the corner here to start today. And we wait for a 2-2 pitch to Elvis Andrus. Nice piece of hitting as he hits it to the right side, but it just rolls foul. And the count's still 2-2.
Jim Leyland was reluctant to mention a number of pitches for Justin Verlander, and I told Jim, as you were there, Joe, saying that we were kidding about trash the clicker last night. He said, nope, you can't trash the clicker. He said, if I had to zero it in, about 125 pitches, unless the bases are loaded in the 8th inning and it's a close game, and then he might have to go 128 or 129.
When you say clicker, you're talking about the little apparatus they use to count pitches.
Right.
And the count 2-2. Still. Good job by Andrus as he moves the runner over. 1 out. Good at bat by Elvis Andrus, and he'll get a nice hand in the dugout as he comes back. Couldn't bunt to advance Kinsler, but he swung and grounded to the right side. Now it's Hamilton, runner at third, 1 out, and the infield is in. Not wanting to fall behind here in the first inning, already down 3-1. Hamilton Strike one. So Hamilton, no surprise, goes up there hammering at the first pitch. Ken Rosenthal is with us, and I'm going to go down to him after this 0-1 pitch. Into center field on a line, and that will put Texas on top. Hamilton with a sac fly on a rope to center, and it's 1-0 Rangers here in the first. And while you see Hamilton go back to the dugout with a slight limp, go down to Ken Rosenthal. What's going on with anything on the injury front with Josh Hamilton, Ken?
Well, Joe, he has not looked like himself this postseason. Batting just .273, no home runs, and 33 previous at-bats to that one. Just one walk. The fact is, he is not himself. He has been dealing with a strained groin. And Tim, that can affect a player in just so many ways.
Well, it can affect not only the running of a player, but the swing of a player. It's amazing how the lower body affects a swing when the bat's in the hands.
Ball one misses outside to Michael Young. And here is him scoring last night. And look how slow he gets up.
Yeah.
Young lines one down toward the left field corner. That pitch was up again from Verlander, and Michael Young has got a 2-out double. Michael almost came out of his shoes to swing at that pitch.
Probably the best pure high ball hitter in the American League. That pitch just above the waist, a two-seam fastball, and you're right, the curveball that was up to Kinsler hit hard down the left field line. That ball just off the glove of Brandon Inge. So 2 doubles and 1 run scored so far against Verlander here in the first.
Brings in Adrian Beltre. Breaking ball misses, ball 1. The Tigers will be dealing with C.J. Wilson in the bottom of this first inning, a 16-game winner during the regular year. He has not been as sharp so far this postseason. There's a good curveball, strike 1. He's had a little trouble getting settled in, Verlander, and the Rangers have a first inning run as they try to stamp their ticket back to the World Series. They won the pennant last year as Beltre pops it up. Cabrera is out of room barely as that's off the top of the tarp. Strike 2. It's what Beltre has done recently against Verlander. Our Chase Freedom Cashback players to watch. Give you after the 1-2 pitch to Adrian Beltre. Crowd tries to climb in it. That ends the inning. We'll give you the graphic when we come back. Bottom of the first inning. Here in Detroit, Texas on top in this series. On top in game 5. Austin Jackson has been getting better swings of late. He leads it off. Ryan Rayburn, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Delman Young, Johnny Peralta, Brandon Inge homered last night. Avila and Ramon Santiago. Yet another look to the lineup for Jim Leyland. He must have been a probability and outcome major in school because he has more permutations of a lineup than anybody can come up with. As C.J. Wilson has put together that resume this postseason, he has been not too sharp.
Good early word on this telecast. Permutations.
C.J. Wilson was the starter in game 1 of this LCS. Was pretty sharp until the rain hit. When he tried to come back, he lost his control.
He has anchored this Ranger lineup, one of 3 left-handers in the rotation. 206 strikeouts by a Ranger pitcher, the most since 1990.
Strike 1 is poured into Austin Jackson. Tigers trying to break out against C.J. Wilson as that misses low. Texas trying to get a long outing from one of their starting pitchers. This postseason, the starting rotation for Texas has not been too effective.
But that bullpen has.
I'll say. Bullpen has a combined ERA of 0.86. The starters 5.5 runs, and only one starter's pitched as many as 6 innings. A 1-2. 2-2. This is a postseason showcase for C.J. Wilson, a free agent to be. Last year it was Cliff Lee in this type spot for Texas as the leader of this staff. Now it's C.J. 30-year-old lefty starts the day with a strikeout. And Austin Jackson is gone. 1 out. Rayburn coming up.
Good two-seam fastball. I beg your pardon, a cutter on the outside part as it cuts over the outside part of the plate.
And now the Chase Freedom Cashback players to watch. And it's a rematch of game 1 of the ALCS. There are the numbers as rain hit hard twice. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. Rayburn takes ball 1. Ryan has been very good against left-handed pitching. Since the 7th of July, he's hit .377. Trying to get on in front of Cabrera, and it gets under it. Fly ball into center for Hamilton. 2 out. With the bases empty, the batter will be Miguel Cabrera. Ron Washington, the manager of the Rangers, said before the game, Cabrera is the biggest threat in a lineup, single threat in a lineup since Barry Bonds. That's how he looks at the Tiger first baseman.
That's how the Tigers look at Nelson Cruz.
Strike 1 to Cabrera. Miguel 5 hits, 14 at bats in this series, and now he's set up at 0-2.
So far, C.J. Wilson throwing much harder than he did for the Rangers in game 1.
To the shortstop, Elvis Andrus makes the pickup and the throw. Good start. C.J. Wilson after 1 in game 5. Rangers on top 1-0. Just to see the sun here peeking through the clouds as Napoli got a big hit last night. And that game-winning rally in the 11th goes after one up. Strike 1. It's Napoli's RBI single that put Texas back out in front. And then that guy did another number on the Detroit pitching staff with an 11th inning 3-run shot. 7-3 final. So for Verlander, who threw 18 pitches in the first inning, he throws 2 to get Napoli 1 out in the second. Today's Get to a Better State recap brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Nelson Cruz has hit 2 11th inning home runs. The grand slam that won it game 2. And so were the Rangers, now 1 win away from another World Series. Strike 1 on Cruz. Like he was up there just taking a strike as he takes another 0-2.
Cruz turning to Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire, perhaps thinking that pitch was high. But within the strike zone. 2 high fastballs to get ahead of Nelson Cruz.
Hit a home run against Verlander in game 1. Did Nelson Cruz, the 0-2. Breaking ball got him looking. 3 pitches, and the big threat for the Texas Rangers will go back to the dugout. 2 out.
Cruz complaining about the high pitch again. 2 high fastballs and a high curve. First pitch in the strike zone. Cruz complained about this one and complained more about the high curve. I think all three pitches were strikes, top of the strike zone.
With 2 out, nobody on, here's David Murphy. It's been hot since the beginning of September, and last night had 3 hits and a run scored. Got the night off in game 3. Murphy is the type hitter that in a different lineup could be a number 2 type hitter.
Number 2, maybe number 5 against certain pitchers. Certainly number 6. But here with the Rangers, as you look at his numbers that are so different, 13 extra base hits in only 31 games.
It's including the postseason since the 1st of September. That was a better inning for Verlander, to say the least. And the Rangers go quietly in the second. Now the Tigers come to bat. Bottom half facing elimination here today, down 1-0. Michigan State in football. The Lions are 5-0. And the Tigers are in the ALCS, but down 3-1 as Victor Martinez steps in. His postseason career just 2 for 22 against lefties. That's strike 1. You like the way C.J. Wilson threw the ball in the first inning.
I think he threw the ball 3 or 4 miles an hour faster, a little more energy than he did in game 1. And that's what happens with that extra adrenaline rush. One thing you have to do is keep it under control, more so than the regular season.
There's a strike, and it's been a lot of strikes from Wilson through the first 4 batters. It's 0-2. Delman Young will follow, and then Johnny Peralta. Rangers up 3-1 and leading today. That's a fair ball. Adrian Beltre, so good. 1 out.
That is a very difficult play. But on pitches that are inside, you could see Beltre moving a half a step to his right. Infielders, you've heard of hitters that cheat on fastballs. Infielders cheat also. That was a cut fastball on the inside part of the plate. There he is, at half a step to the right, allowing him to make that play, the backhand play. That was just a very, very fine play by a terrific third baseman.
Now Delman Young, 1 out, nobody on. Delman is hitless in this ALCS. Glad to see a lefty hitting .448 against left-handed pitching since the 1st of September. Claimed off waivers in the middle of August, and then a deal was worked out. Get Delman from Minnesota to Detroit. Drove home 32 runs in the last 40 games of the season with his new club. Actually was traded when Minnesota was in Detroit, and he rode the Twins bus to the game, then went to the home clubhouse, put on his new uniform, and homered in his first at bat against the Minnesota Twins. Not a bad start. Here he is in the ALCS. 1 out, nobody on. Backing up is Moreland, and he will make the play. 2 out. Bases are empty for Johnny Peralta.
Talked about sports in the Detroit area. Of course, a couple of Stanley Cups for the hockey team here. Detroit Red Wings, also owned by Mike Ilitch, who owns the baseball team. And Jim Leyland has said more than one occasion that he would love to win a world championship for Mike Ilitch, 82-year-old owner of the Tigers and the Red Wings.
So with 2 out, nobody on, Leyland sends Peralta to the plate. Strike 1. And C.J. Wilson has his best stuff of the postseason so far here today.
Got everything working so far, all 3 pitches.
Ball 1.
On cue, after saying that about C.J., he throws a 56-foot curveball.
A little shoulder shrug, and he rubs up a new ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Maddox, his pitching coach on the right. Ron Washington manager on the left with 2 out, nobody on. Ball 2. Pitch was up. Peralta fouled it back 2-2. This crowd is needing a reason to get excited about the Tigers prospects here today.
In most businesses, a businessman goes home, he wants it to be quiet. When you're a baseball player, you don't. You want a loud home.
And it is right now quiet after the Rangers jumped out in front against Verlander with a leadoff double by Kinsler and a sac fly by Hamilton. Another 2-2. Ball 3. Popped up right side. Will it be playable? It was playable, and Moreland did all he could. Stayed in play and then bounced out. And Mitch Moreland went a long way and gave it everything he had. It's still a full count. Peralta hit 21 home runs during the regular season. He hit one here 2 nights ago. I looked stunned in that picture.
When I ran into the wrong stylist.
Here's a foul out of play. See that again. I look like I've just been shocked. Tim is like, hey there.
What color is that hair? It's awful.
And then there's Kenny and his bow tie.
Yeah.
Here is 3-2. In the air to center and easy for Hamilton. What a good start for C.J. Wilson as we go to the 3rd. Here in Detroit, game 5, Texas on top 1-0. It's ball 1. Down and away. Moreland, Kinsler, and Elvis Andrus. 9-1 and 2 if anybody gets on Hamilton in this good Rangers lineup. Moreland hit 16 home runs during the regular season. Out in front of a changeup there, and the count is even. See what Mitch has done since the 21st of August. Not much this postseason. That accounts for that 1 home run. He's 2 for 17. Change up to a fastball, strike 2.
Once again, Jim Leland telling us that it would be better for Justin to throw 92, 93 miles an hour and try to economize his pitches. But of course, against the Rangers, that's tough to do.
And why is it important? Well, according to Jim Leland, who we met with, the manager of the Tigers, his main setup guy, Joaquin Benoit, and Jose Valverde, his closer, are not available in this game. He said, I've got Verlander and Verlander, maybe Phil Koch, but I've got Verlander. That's out of play. Still 1 and 2. Benoit's down there anyway. We went in and talked to Ron Washington, the manager of the Rangers, and he said, yeah, right. He said he can say that, and I believe him. That's what he hopes happens. But if he's got a lead in the last inning, how do you not bring in the closer? This one gets away, and Moreland's got a chance to reach, which he does. And Avila's had a rough postseason with the bat. Now this one will further tax Verlander.
Yeah, that goes through the trap door. That is not a tough pitch to block because you're anticipating the ball in the dirt. Any breaking ball that goes down, you expect it to be in the dirt. That gets the glove down. It's going to be a wild pitch, but should be a pass ball, and I think Alex would agree with that.
And so the leadoff man is on. It brings in Kinsler. And it is a wild pitch charged officially against Verlander. Strike one.
The curveball can fool the hitter, but it can't fool the catcher because he called it. Clicker City. Jeff Jones, the pitching coach, with the clicker that counts pitches.
1 ball, 1 strike. Kinsler jumped on a curveball his first time and hit a double down into the left field corner, scored on a sac fly by Josh Hamilton. And a double by Michael Young, who was left on. Ball 2.
A pitcher striking out 4 men in an inning has been done a number of times in baseball history. But if a guy can do it, it's Justin Verlander. 250 strikeouts on the year to lead the Tigers in, again, strikeouts ERA.
That's foul, strike 2.
And wins. Pardon me, Joe.
Have a base runner on their side. The Texas Rangers trying to take advantage of the strikeout and the wild pitch at the start of this third. Here comes a 2-2. 1 out. Strikeout number 3.
When the second inning started, when Justin Verlander was warming up, sometimes you can tell whether a pitcher has good stuff. He was working on a changeup. Almost nobody will go to a changeup when you're throwing your warm-up pitches, but Verlander was doing that, and that's the pitch he got Kinsler on, the changeup. And a good one. He does not have his good stuff today. That's when you're really tested as a pitcher, and all the great ones find a way to win.
Elvis Andrus at the plate, 1 on, 1 out, and rides Elvis off the plate a bit. Ball 1.
Not a bad hit and run count right here. Elvis making contact his first at bat. He's ahead in the count. So he'll probably get a predictable pitch, a fastball. Hit the ball to the right side the first time up. He can do it again.
Elvis Andrus from Venezuela. He has his mom and his stepdad here in town. The rest of his family is watching back home. So he fouls one off his foot or leg. That's strike 1.
Looks like his left foot. No, back foot. That's a rarity.
Might have been his right knee.
Yeah. You know, the problem with players this deep into the postseason, we talked about it, feeling healthy. It's more unusual to feel good than it is bad here in October. You just hope you have a chance to be in uniform in the middle of October.
1 ball, 1 strike. That is on the infield in foul territory. Avila. 2 out. Catch all the action of this Major League Baseball Championship Series on Fox and the NLCS on TBS. Join the postseason debate at MLBFanCave.com and follow the action on Twitter for the hashtag postseason. legends are born in October. With 2 out, the batter is Hamilton, who hit a sharp line drive to center for a sac fly his first time up. One to nothing Texas. Ball 1 outside. Here's a 1-0. On the outside part, strike 1. Hamilton didn't agree. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sometimes a pitch will hit the front corner. The catcher catches it inches outside. But if it goes over any part of the plate between the knees and the letters, it's a strike.
Here's a 1-1. 2-1. Watching these two teams during batting practice before today's game, I can't tell you how loose the Texas Rangers were, joking around, having fun, bouncing around, taking batting practice, giving each other trouble. And it was all going on, the majority of it, while the Tigers were hitting. And the Rangers were right on their side of the foul area in front of their dugout, just making noise, laughing, giggling while the Tigers were trying to get loose.
That's what happens when you're up 3 games to 1. If it were reversed, the reverse may have been true.
2-2 the count, 1 on, 2 out. And Hamilton flies one into left for Delman Young. That'll do it for Texas in the 3rd. Man left, they've stranded 2. After 2.5 here in Detroit, 1-0 Rangers. In the order for the Tigers in Javila Santiago against C.J. Wilson, who has 1 strikeout and nothing hard hit against him. 1 ball, 1 strike. You're about to see a graphic that we've been sitting on for 3 games now, that we may get on after Inge does something to start this 3rd. That's strike 2. Got him looking, strikeout number 2. Here it is as Inge goes down looking. You all know this about Detroit, home to GM, the adopted hometown of Joe Louis. But how about this? 2nd in the nation in the sale of fishing rods, the most registered bowlers in the United States, and is the potato chip capital of the world based on consumption. And again, Detroit's own Mike Tatamir proving that where there's someone from Detroit, there's a bag of chips ready to be back at the wall. This game is tied. Avila goes the other way. And Alex Avila has his first home run of this postseason. 1-1 in the 3rd. Tim, that guy is on fumes right now, and he just rode it out of here the opposite way. He keeps answering the bell, and now he's tied the game.
It is a quirky series. The only left-hander in the Detroit lineup against the left-handed Wilson. Homers for his first home run in the postseason.
Are you surprised that ball carried out of here?
Yes, I was. About where Brandon Inge hit his last night.
How about that? Alex Avila, who's been so frustrated at the plate. Santiago did not swing. The count's 2-0. Avila, Tim, is in there right now to catch and receive and help this pitching staff through games. And now a guy who really finished the regular season well swing in the bat finally breaks through here in the postseason.
I talked to John Lowe, who's a writer for the Detroit Free Press before the game, about Alex, and I said,
strike one,
that his knees are the likely problem. Trying to get his feet up under him. He's got a bad knee, but it's that left hand who's been catching all these Detroit pitchers all year.
In the hole, Andrews' throw gets away, and down to second goes Santiago with 1 out.
After a blast, a break. But to finish that point about Avila, when you're left hand, from a catcher's standpoint, if you're catching a hard-throwing pitching staff, and you've caught 133 games during the season and more in the postseason, that left hand's going to bother you. A lot of times you're hitting with 8 fingers. Can't put any pressure on that left hand. That's been another problem of Avila in the postseason.
It's a single for Santiago, E6 on Andrews. He committed 25 errors during the regular season. Jackson takes a strike. No errors for Elvis, however, the last 33 games of the regular season, so he tightened up his defense, and that's his first of the postseason. Puts the go-ahead run in scoring position, 1 out. 0-1. Ball and a strike on Jackson, who struck out his first time. Check swing, strike 2. A 1-1 game, bottom of the 3rd. Go ahead run at second, 1 out, and a 1-2 count on Austin Jackson. 2 out. And for the second time in this game, Jackson has struck out. It's up to Rayburn. 3rd strikeout for C.J. Wilson.
Again, the cut fastball, like it was out of a strike zone, and Austin goes for it. By the way, that home run by Alex Avila, he had only 3 home runs off left-handed pitching all year, and C.J. Wilson gave up only 3 home runs against left-handed hitters all year.
His home run ties it. Now it's Rayburn who flied to center. This guy is a threat against C.J. Wilson, who spins to keep Santiago close at second. Again, talking to Ryan before the game 2 nights ago, said, "Do you like playing left or right?" Said, "I like to hit. I don't care where I play. I just want to swing the bat." Hit 14 home runs during the regular season. He hit a 3-run shot in game 2 in Arlington. Ball 1 on deck is Cabrera. An enviable position in any lineup in front of the biggest threat. So Rayburn should get something to hit. Santiago at second, 2 out. On the outside part, strike 1. Rayburn drove home 49 runs during the regular season. Tight, ball 2. 3. Wouldn't this crowd love to see Miguel Cabrera get a chance here in this 3rd inning? Right now it's Rayburn. In a good situation at the plate. Full count. In the air to right. Back is Cruz to end the inning, and C.J. Wilson, a nice job pitching around the error. And game number 5 is tied after 3 from the corner. Over the wall and left. And for Avila, thanks and congratulations from his starter. Tied at 1. Justin Verlander's 45 pitches have been fouled away, something that Jim Leyland was concerned about coming in. He's gone 3. It's now a 1-1 game, and Leyland's point was Verlander's such a good pitcher with such good stuff. Guys are up there just battling, fouling off pitches, and that's what gets Verlander's pitch count up.
Yeah, it was an interesting point that Jim had. I don't think his stuff's.
Here's a fly ball into right. And an easy out to start the inning as Rayburn hauls it in.
I don't think his stuff is the same today as it normally is, and consequently there are fewer foul balls hit against him than there normally is.
That may be a good thing.
Yeah, in a weird way, right?
It's a foul out to start the inning, and Adrian Beltre stands in. He lined out. Soft liner hit to 3rd, his first time up. In the 4th, game 5, tied at 1. Good tight breaking ball there, strike 1.
See, there haven't been many swings and misses against Verlander like there normally is.
But that's not to say Verlander is the type pitcher that can find a rhythm and then morph into a guy who becomes unhittable as the game goes on. 2 out. Well, this is going to be a big Sunday on Fox, the NFL on Fox. And the 49ers will be here. They're 4 to Napoli. And by the way, if there is a game 7 in this ALCS, it would be at the end of that day. Sunday here on Fox. Here's the 0-1. Ball 1. How about Matthew Stafford, who grew up in the Highland Park area of Dallas? And the start for him, he's got Calvin Johnson, clearly the best weapon on the outside right now in the NFL. And Alex Smith got a vote of confidence from his new head coach Jim Harbaugh. And he has taken that opportunity, another opportunity, and run with it. So good for him. 2 balls and a strike on Napoli with Nelson Cruz on deck. Napoli trying to launch. There's 97 from Verlander's strike 2. This crowd is starting to come alive. Kenny Rosenthal reminding us in game 1 that Verlander grew up with Nolan Ryan as his idol, even though it's been a while since Ryan was on a big league mound. Verlander's only 28. He has that kind of late inning stuff. Here's a 2-2. Breaking ball, and just getting a piece is Napoli. Verlander slows it down. Fastball misses, full count. A 2-out walk, the first walk handed out by Verlander in this game.
Joe, in my experience, I faced 2 pitchers and they threw fastballs that I did not see. One was Rich Gossage in the gloaming about 5:30 about this time. The other, Nolan Ryan. If you think it's not frightening to hear a pitch, there are a lot of jokes about that, to hear a pitch and then step out and say to yourself, I didn't see that pitch. It's frightening.
He struck out more than anybody in the history of this game.
7 no-hitters. 7.
Here's a guy who's been hitting him over the fence, Nelson Cruz. First time up, Verlander kept the ball up when the ball's been down, and Cruz has been able to drop the bat head on it. He has been able to hit it a long way.
Yeah, I think Verlander's easier to hit when the ball's down in the strike zone, unless it's a breaking ball or changeup.
That was up and in, 98. Here's game 1 against Verlander. That made it 3-0. A game Texas won with 2 rain delays in the 5th, 3-2. Here is a 1-1. 98.
That was the best fastball he's thrown all day. A little heat behind that heater.
Up the middle, Santiago stabs it, drops it, throws it too late. And so an error will keep this inning alive for Texas.
I think Santiago looked up thinking about going to his shortstop and then dropped the ball and too late to recover to get Cruz running hard all the way. But Santiago looked up right there. See, he was looking at his shortstop. And now by the time he recovers after he drops the ball, too late to get Cruz.
So that extends the inning. Santiago made 3 errors during the regular season. That's his first this postseason. And here is Murphy, a chance to put Texas back on top. Ball 1 outside on a changeup. That is only the 2nd error for the Tigers in this series. The other belongs to Austin Jackson on a routine fly in Texas. Here comes a 1-0. Popped up. 99-mile-per-hour pitch. Verlander is heating it up. We're going into the bottom of the 4th. Big bats coming up for the Tigers as we're tied at 1. Rangers are going back to Texas either way. Tigers have their bags packed. And I hope they have a reason to use them after tonight's game, forcing a game 6 on Saturday night. A little inside. Ball 1 to Cabrera, grounded out to short his first time.
Yeah, the Tigers are hopeful that their next trip south is not to Lakeland, Florida, where they take spring training.
They have the right guy on the mound to try and make it happen. The Rangers feel the same way about their left-hander Wilson. 1-0. Cabrera just walking out of there. I don't know if that bothered Wilson or not. Wilson stared in after the pitch as he bounced it in there.
Well, he may have tried to get timeout, but it didn't appear that there was any movement of the lips. Now he's talking to home plate umpire Jeff Nelson. Maybe he called timeout. I don't know.
There's a strike, 2-1. Time has to be granted by the home plate umpire if that's the case, and the time was given. Ball 3. Victor Martinez was robbed of a double his first time up. Beltre again is pretty close to the line at third. Slicing into the corner, out of play, full count. Coming up tonight, folks at TBS will bring you the Brewers and Cardinals game 4. St. Louis up 2-1. That's at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific if necessary. Game 6. Tigers and Rangers on Saturday night. We'll be on the air at 7:30 Eastern.
Miguel Cabrera was coming in the Tiger clubhouse before the game, and I said, have you ever been walked with one out and nobody on? No. No. Intentionally.
He was last night. It paid off. And he's walked here. To start the 4th, leadoff man is on for the first time in this game for Detroit.
Ron Washington was hilarious today in our meeting with him, talking about telling his pitchers and walking up and down the bench, saying, can't anybody on this staff pitch around this guy? He said, we tried everything. He said, so I took it into my hands to walk him myself. Nobody would talk to me. I kept saying, Mike, meaning Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, is that the right thing to do? Said he didn't even look at me. I was on my own.
One on, nobody out, and Martinez with a double play ball to third. Beltre starts it. Kinsler in the middle. 2 out, nobody on.
I mean, he had us rolling. Talking about how to get Miguel Cabrera out. Well, this is one way. Force him at second base. Good double play picked by Beltre once again.
With 2 out, nobody on, Delman Young will be the hitter. That's well hit into left center field. Back at the wall. And the Tigers take a Game 5 4th inning lead. Delman Young will take the trip. And it's 2-1 Detroit.
Another first pitch fastball to Delman Young. His 4th postseason home run, 3 of the 4 on the first pitch. I remember Ron Darling in the TBS telecast against the Yankees saying right before he hit it, watch the first pitch. He bombed one out to right, and now he bombs one to left center to give the Tigers the lead.
First lead of the day as Peralta stands in. A 1-0 is on the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Home run by Avila tied it in the 3rd. A home run by Delman Young puts Detroit on top here in the 4th. Ball 2, 2-1. Claimed in mid-August. Two and 2. C.J. Wilson now has allowed 9 home runs. 6 postseason starts. 2 today. CJ allowed only 16 during the regular season, pitching out of his home ballpark in Arlington where the ball jumps. That's not many. The 3-2. Left side for Beltre. To his left. Makes the stop. Bad throw dug out by Moreland, but in the inning. That from Delman Young has put Detroit on top for the first time in Game 5. Back after this from your local Fox station. Question: where is the baseball phrase "around the horn" derived from? Grammatically correct. From where is the term "around the horn" derived?
And it has nothing to do with our information director, Steve Horn.
I think it has everything to do with our information director, Steve Horn. At least a question. Here's Mitch Moreland, who is a strikeout victim in this game. Verlander has struck out 3, allowed 1 walk, a run on 2 hits. He's pitched around a wild pitch and a strikeout and an error.
Joe, we talked earlier in the opening about how Jim Leyland said if Justin Verlander starts out slowly and finishes with a flourish, that's when he's at his best, and that's what he's done through the first 4 innings.
96 for strike 1 on Moreland. It was a home run threat. Then Kinsler and Andrews, if anybody gets on Hamilton. Pair of solo home runs. They have Detroit on top 2-1. Ball 2.
You know, the reason we talk about Jim Leyland talking about his pitcher and not Ron Washington talking about his pitcher is Ron Washington rarely will talk about the pitching. He'll talk about the esprit de corps of the Rangers, the base running, the hitting. He leaves the pitching for the most part to Mike Maddox. And he is one of the best around, and one of the first things Nolan Ryan did when he took over as the president of the team was to hire that man right there, Mike Maddox, and he handles the pitching of the Rangers, period.
2-2 the count as Verlander's trying to handle the hitting of the Rangers. Backing out of play. We are in the 5th. The 2-2. Another foul. Into and out of the upper deck. I like to chant MVP for Justin Verlander, and that's starting in the crowd here as a breaking ball got him looking. Good Verlander curveball, strikeout number 4.
That is V squared. Verlander vintage curveball.
And such a key component to what he brings to each start. That curveball.
Good changeup, good curveball, 2 types of fastballs. He is a tough assignment for any hitter.
Well, the guy on deck, Elvis Andrews, who we talked to before the game, said the key to him is his curveball. When Verlander gets it over, he is really hard to beat.
Yeah, you can't sit on one pitch.
So when he can't get that pitch over, then he's hittable like anybody else. Strike 1 on Kinsler. Same was said for years about the aforementioned Nolan Ryan. That pitch inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The No matter how hard that fastball is, big league hitters will catch up to it if they don't have to worry about anything else. Here's a 1-1. 95 for strike 2.
The one thing is clear up to now. Jeff Nelson is giving Verlander that high strike.
Breaking ball drops down and away. Kinsler hit a hook. A curveball. It was up into the left field corner his first time for a double. Now a full count. First inning allowed a run on 2 hits. Since then he's racked up 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. Here comes pitch number 76. A 1-out walk. And Elvis Andrus will walk in.
Here's one of those situations where all the combatants have quick feet. There's quick feet at the plate in Andrus. There's quick feet at first in Ian Kinsler, and quick feet on the mound in Justin Verlander. Verlander with one of the best right-handed moves in the American League. Very quick for a big man.
Vila's got quick feet behind the plate.
Right.
Ball 1 rides Andrus off the plate for the 2nd time in this game. Tigers lead by 1 in the 5th. Strike 1.
Once again, the high strike. I'm not saying those balls are out of the strike zone. That may have been. But Justin, being abetted by home plate umpire Jeff Nelson.
Good curveball, strike 2.
Well, that was nasty there. And again, your point, that's what Elvis was telling us before the game. The Verlander hook. Tightly wrapped.
Again up and into Andrus, 2-2, 98. As that one rode high and tight out of the hand of Verlander.
That's a bad habit for any pitcher to get into. When he shakes his head yes, and then shakes his head yes again, it's a fastball. It's got to be a fastball, because the only pitch you locate is a fastball.
That's a broken back ground ball that will roll foul. And a good job by Inge to stay away.
Not only are the Rangers good, but the Rangers have been getting the breaks. Here, a break for the Tigers.
And a new bat for Elvis Andrus as he comes back to the plate. Hamilton on deck. Tying run at first, 1 out in the 5th. Last night the Tigers led 2-0 going into the 6th. A 3-run 6th inning, and Elvis was a part of that. Big Texas lead. Now we're in the 5th today. 2-2. That's foul. Fox tonight, it's a big night. The X Factor is all new as the contestants learn who their mentors are when they travel to the judges' homes. Expect lots of drama, amazing performances. The X Factor, all new tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. The 2-2 again. Breaking ball, base hit into left field. That pitch was up, and now it's 2 on with 1 out. And Hamilton coming up.
Whenever you hear those 3 words, breaking ball up, usually a line drive is on the end of it. Hey, Kinsler made that turn at second base, and Delman Young, we talked about it in last night's game. The Rangers had planned on running on Delman Young, but he got to the ball quickly and got rid of it quickly to hold Kinsler to second base.
Tying run in scoring position for Hamilton. Go ahead run at first with 1 out. Ball 1. Great speed on with Kinsler and Andrews. Joking with Cabrera over at first. Hamilton drove home 94 during the regular season, and he takes ball 2. And here comes Jeff Jones, the pitching coach, to talk to Verlander. Remember, we talked to Justin prior to the game last night, and he told us that he did find something wrong with his delivery during that first rain delay in Texas, and now he's lost a little bit of his control after hanging a breaking ball to Elvis Andrews.
That could be a reminder from the Detroit pitching coach Jeff Jones. One thing you don't want to do during a game is talk too much about mechanics. Those things should be fixed in starts between games and bullpen sessions. Maybe just a reminder, 1 key, that's enough.
Last year's MVP in the ALCS. This year, I would say his teammate Nelson Cruz is the leader in the clubhouse in that race.
By far.
Here's a 2-0. But he pulled the string a bit on 2-0, and it's 2-1.
That was a good changeup. Hamilton out in front.
88-mile-per-hour changeup. Strike 2. 98 off the hands.
Yeah, it's always good. But the catchers and pitchers refer to them as couplets. It's always good to follow a changeup with a fastball because you've given the hitter the look. And that was a 4-seam fastball, the fastest fastball that Verlander could throw.
Hamilton wincing after that swing. He is bothered by a sore groin, and that's something that will play out the rest of this series if there's more to go, or in the World Series. Not able to really drive with that foundation at the plate. But he drives this one into the gap. This ball will get down and tie it. Elvis Andrews will stop at third. And delivering again is Hamilton. It's 2-2 in the 5th.
Hamilton not trying to do too much with that pitch, a fastball that tails away, and he hits it away to left center field to tie it up again. Fine play by Austin Jackson to keep Hamilton at first.
Now first and third, only 1 out, and the go-ahead run 90 feet away. 2-2 game. Ball one low.
Boy, Joe, walks lead to trouble, don't they? A walk and 2 hits, and the walk is scored in this inning.
It was Kinsler, a hit by Andrews, and then an RBI hit by Hamilton. There's 101 from Verlander, past the bat of Michael Young.
Jim Leyland saying that if Verlander hits 100 in the first 2 innings, that means trouble. He didn't say in the 5th inning you couldn't do that.
Not in this spot. 2-1. Last 3 pitches have been over 100 from Verlander, but within that, the Rangers have tied it 2-2.
Changeup.
How about 92 miles per hour on a changeup? And it's 2-2.
There it is right there. Whenever that ring finger becomes involved, then that means changeup. Ring fingers are for rings and shaking hands and changeups.
Uh, 2-2 instead. Verlander, who lost Ian Kinsler, had Kinsler set up at 1-2. Ian drew a walk and then scored on the hit by Hamilton. Got him on a curveball, 2 out.
Oh boy. A knee buckler to Young gets him. Let's take a look at the sequence of speeds from Verlander. 100 mile an hour, 101, 101, the 92 mile an hour changeup, and then Uncle Charlie to get Young.
Now the inning falls into the lap of Adrian Beltre, who's 0 for 2. He's lined out twice. And this one's well hit. Into the corner. This ball is foul. Just foul from a 3-run home run. And that takes the air right out of this ballpark as everybody, all these Tiger fans, exhale as that thing ends up on the foul side of the ball.
Tell you, Joe, that ball started out about 25 feet fair. What a take. And again, something we haven't said too much. A tough break for Texas.
The count 0-2 as Beltre pulls it foul. Now the crowd is back as the Rangers have tied it and look to regain the lead. Breaking ball is hammered to center. Back is Jackson. Inning over. Beltre hit it hard twice in that at bat, and all he does is make the last out at the top of the 5th as the Rangers tied it 2-2 in Game 5. Bottom 3 in the lineup: Brandon Inge, Alex Avila, who has homered. That tied the game back in the 3rd. Strike 1 on Inge. And a home run by Delman Young in the 4th put Detroit up 2-1, but now the Rangers have tied it, had a chance for more, and Beltre came close twice. The ball he hit just fouled down the right field line, and then that ball he hit into center is out in a lot of parks.
Welcome to Comerica.
Inge homered last night, struck out his first time, and takes ball 2. These games have been so close, so intense. The 2-2 pitch.
I think it's the disparity between the length of the season and the length of the playoffs. You go from 162 games to 7 max in a series. And you go home if you don't win.
Tie game. Inge leading off the 5th, and he gets time at the plate. CJ's more dialed in tonight. Inge stays alive. Napoli can't come up with it. Well, Kenny Rosenthal wears a lot of hats for us, and I understand he's got a stat he wants to throw our way. Kenny.
Well, Joe, if you want to know how good this series has been, how close, consider this. 87 half innings that these teams have played, and they've been tied or separated by 1 run in 65 of them. So think about that. 75% of the half innings we've seen here, the teams have been tied or separated by 1 run.
Here is a 2-2, and it's flying into center. The park will hold down if it held Beltre's 1 out. Inge got under it a bit, 1 away. And that's led to interesting managerial decisions, worn out bullpens. Brings in Avila here in the 5th inning. He tied it with that fly ball the other way that got over the wall back in the 3rd. Strike 1.
How many managers will tell you before the game that he's not using his 2 most important guys in the bullpen before the game starts? Because they're worn out.
And he didn't, talking about Leland, Benoit and Valverde, he didn't just tell us.
No.
He said it in the press conference,
right.
So Ron Washington's aware of that.
Yeah.
It is odd, actually.
It is very odd. And as you said earlier, Ron, as you take a look at the 2 right-handers, Ron Washington believed him, but he thinks if we get to the 8th inning or 9th inning and he's got a lead, things might change.
The 1-1. Avila will try to leg it out. Kinsler makes the play, 2 out. Meanwhile, the bullpen is in much better shape for Texas. It's deeper anyway, but with the exception of Ogando, everybody is ready to go for normal use, and even Ogando is available tonight, according to Ron Washington. And on the other side, if pitch count is the issue with Verlander, he's up to 96 pitches. As Texas made him throw 33 in the top of this 5th. Scored 1 and left 2 runners on. Two out. Ball 1 down and in to Santiago. He's been a .300 hitter against left-handed pitching since '07. Switch hitting second baseman. And he is on with 2 out here in the 5th. About the Geico in-game box score for Detroit. The man walking in, Austin Jackson, 0 for 2 with 2 more strikeouts. Rayburn hitless, Cabrera hitless with a walk. Home runs by Delman Young and Alex Avila. Guy at the bottom, the number 9 man, Santiago's 2 for 2. Santiago does not run well. Did not attempt a stolen base all year, in case you're wondering. Strike 1. Strike two.
Joe, we talked the other day about Austin Jackson, his 181 strikeouts. It's continued in the postseason. We compared him to Barry Bonds, or to Bobby Bonds, Barry's father. And Bobby set the all-time strikeout record for a season in 1970. It lasted for 34 years. And since 2004, it's been broken 11 times by 5 players. 189 strikeouts in 1970, and that record lasted for 34 years until 2004. And since then, it's been broken 11 times.
You said it's continued for Austin Jackson. He has 16 strikeouts this postseason. He is a dynamic player when he makes contact.
Right.
The problem is he's in the leadoff spot. Strikeouts are rally killers, obviously, but when you've got the legs and the speed and some pop in the bat, Tigers just wanting him to make some kind of contact to make anything happen.
Use your legs to hit.
Another strikeout on a pitch down and in, third of the day. And game number 5 goes into the 6th inning. Verlander with his 96 pitches back to work. Verlander needs an economical inning. That's pitch number 97. Strike two. Our E-Trade stock watch. Mike Napoli, the guy at the plate last night. Go ahead RBI in the 11th. He caught Austin Jackson stealing in the bottom of the 10th. And Mother Nature, thankfully to this point in game 5, has stayed away.
And he caught Miguel Cabrera trying to score. He almost literally caught him.
Here's an 0-2. Little flare into center. Austin Jackson will drop it. He got there and could not make the catch. And Austin Jackson could not corral it. His body got him there, but he could not.
Well, the Ranger, I don't think he touched the ball. He may have hit off the edge of his glove. Yep. But the thing about the Rangers lineup, they get a lot of hits like that because you have to play them all deep.
We dropped a routine fly ball in Arlington, and now this one a more difficult catch. He got there but could not make the grab, and a big swing by Nelson Cruz. And all that does is add more to what Verlander has to try and get through here in the 6th inning. They've ruled that a base hit. Not an error on Jackson.
Well, think about it. I mean, if you're Austin Jackson and you dive for the ball and miss it, perhaps Napoli's on second base. So he may have played it too cautiously, but maybe caution was the better part of valor then. I don't know.
Strike two on Nelson Cruz.
Here it is one more time. Now put yourself in Austin Jackson's position. If he dives for the ball and the ball caroms away from him, maybe that allows Napoli to get to second. At the very least, that ball's got to be, yeah, it's got to be caught.
I would think the answer is just catch it.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, you're right.
One on, nobody out. The breaking ball is chopped foul. You're down 3 games to 1. You've got Verlander with virtually nothing left in the bullpen. That's a ball that's got to be caught.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's an 0-2. Breaking ball fooled Cruz, and strikeout number 6.
Take a look at the sequence of pitches from Verlander as the fastball. That was the pitch to hit. He missed it. 0-2 pitch, curveball down. And he has not looked that bad on any pitch during the LCS. That buckling curveball of Verlander gets Cruz.
And now David Murphy steps in. Murphy has gotten under it twice. He has popped up to short, fouled out to third. Strike 1. This Texas Rangers club during the regular season had the league's best average of 283. For the American League, the average for teams was 258. That's outside. This will be pitch number 106. Tim, you were talking to Leland, and we talked about it earlier. You said throw away the clicker, meaning forget about pitch count on a night like this. And you said, well, I'm not going to do that. I've got Verlander for 3 more years, and I don't know that subjecting him possibly to damaging his arm is the right thing to do. Good changeup. Strike 2.
Well, that's the key. There's been no official study as to how many pitches during a Major League Baseball game. Where do you start damaging your arm? Nobody's ever studied it. No doctors ever come out and said you need 4 days rest and not 3 days rest.
Here's a 1-2. Murphy fouls it away. But the point within this game.
Right.
He's about all you have.
Yeah, I think so. They talked about Phil Koch, but I get your point. Does he, in effect, when Verlander and the Tigers' backs are against the wall, throw the clicker away? We'll see.
That's into the gap in right center field. Can anyone get there? The answer, no. Going to third is Napoli. They're going to hold him there. And it's second and third with 1 out on a double by David Murphy.
Napoli, a slow runner, and the only way he was going to score is to take a chance and go immediately. However, he stops right there, slows down, gets to second base. The only way you're going to make it with that type speed is to take off from the get-go. And that slowing down before second did not allow Dave Anderson to send him when he got to third base.
Rayburn gave it all he had, but meanwhile, remember, Napoli's on base because Austin Jackson missed that ball in center.
Yep.
Now it's second and third, 1 out. The batter is Moreland. He's in a key spot. He was struck out twice. Infield in on the corners. Ball 1. Napoli at third. David Murphy, who had 3 hits last night, with a big double here for the Rangers in the 6th. He's at second. Here's a 1-0. Nicely blocked by Avila. On deck is Kinsley. With that, Phil Koch and Brad Penny are getting loose. The Tigers in their pen. We're only in the 6th.
That was almost a balk. I was about to say, I'm Justin Verlander. I work from the stretch here. Too many things can happen when you're on the rubber getting your sign. He's balked twice this year.
Now he's behind in the count 3-0 to Moreland.
Come back, come on.
Pitch inside to load him up, and that's walk number 3. It brings in Ian Kinsler.
Kinsler had 30 stolen bases this year. That means he has very good speed. It's going to be interesting. The infield of the Tigers is in double play depth. But balls to the corner to Inge or to the first baseman Cabrera, if they're not hit hard, they do have the option to come home for the force out.
Crowd gets behind Verlander. There's one to third. Step and throw. Inning over. And Verlander fired up to get out of the jam. 34-year-old third baseman, the longest tenured Tiger. He knew what to do with it. And that keeps it tied into the bottom of the 6th inning here in Detroit. Tied because of a double play ball.
The good pitchers reserve the two-seam fastball for ground balls and double play situations. He breaks the bat of Ian Kinsler, and then Inge takes it from there.
And it will be the 2, 3, and 4 batters for the Tigers in a 2-2 game. Rayburn first up. The third baseman, Adrian Beltre, has been on the line really since the beginning. Any right-handed batter for the most part that's been up there, and he's been hugging the line like it's the 8th inning or 9th inning in a 1-run game.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier, Joe, really from one of the early plays of the game when Victor Martinez grounded out in the 2nd inning. He cheats toward the third baseline. And that's because of that cutter inside the right-handed batters. And particularly a tie game from the latter innings, you're going to try to prevent the double. But you're right, he's been there most of the game.
Here is a 2-0. 2-1. It's Cabrera next, and then Victor Martinez. If anybody gets on Delman Young, who was homered in this game. Cabrera homered 2 nights ago. Good pitch down and in, 2-2. Not much of a swing by Rayburn.
Disappearing cutter. Sounds like a new Stephen King novel. Disappearing cutter.
And it's much better stuff today for C.J. Wilson. Only 80 pitches. Verlander's had to work a lot harder. A leadoff base hit. Rayburn is on. A mistake up from C.J. Wilson. Brings in Cabrera.
Talk about the tail of 2 pitches. That cutter totally fooling Rayburn. The pitch before, the hanger from Wilson.
Strike 1.
Here's the cutter to even the count at 2-2. Rayburn looks bad. And then his eyes light up on the hanger from Wilson. Napoli's reaction behind the plate. Almost a wild throw by Wilson.
I guess with the chance of overdoing it, while Coke and Penny are getting loose. According to Jim Leland, there are 3 guys unavailable out in that bullpen for Detroit tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Verlander is approaching what Leland thought was his pitch limit tonight. He's thrown 113 pitches. Leland has no confidence in Al Albuquerque, and both Joaquin Benoit and Valverde, his closer, are unavailable. With the Tigers down 3 games to 1. Here's the 1-1. That hits the bag. A break for Detroit. Over the head of Beltre. Rounding third is Rayburn. Tigers lead 3-2.
You talked about Beltre, who most assuredly turns a double play if he gets the right hop. But for once in this series, the hop goes to the Tigers as the ball hits the bag and bounces over Beltre's head. Just fair.
And the big number 3 hitter Miguel Cabrera delivers on a ball off the base. Nobody out. Now Victor Martinez. Ball 1.
You'll go to ballparks and you'll see umpires between innings kicking that bag, the first base and third base bag, trying to keep the bags in fair territory. That's why they do that. On balls that 1 in 500 that would hit the bag. In fair territory. Off the top of the bag, just fair.
And then Beltre goes over and gives it a look.
Just catapulting upward.
Counts 2-0 on Victor Martinez. Strike 1. Now they're having fun in Detroit, but there is a long way to go. Two and 2. Victor Martinez throughout the postseason has driven in a total of 2 runs. Only 1 in this LCS. That came on the game-tying home run here in Game 3 2 nights ago in the 4th. Cabrera is Mr. Social out at second base talking to Elvis Andrus. Miguel Cabrera and Adrian Beltre after the foul ball that was hit by Victor Martinez. Now Cabrera's talking to Andres. They're talking about at least Cabrera and Beltre that.
Okay, that's not an easy call for Larry Vanover. He's behind the bag. The ball hit on the line in front of the bag. Definitely fair. But a look of concentration on Larry Vanover's face in calling that double. His view. Beltre in front of him even.
Here's a 2-2. Foul straight back. Don't let the lack of production during the postseason fool you. Victor Martinez, one of the best in the game when healthy. Driving in runs. 103 on the regular season, at the best average in the big leagues with runners in scoring position. Did that for a Detroit team that won 95 games. And their first divisional title since '87. That's into right field. This ball will get down. It's a fair ball. Cabrera had to wait. He will score. And Victor Martinez is at third as the Tigers lead by 2.
Cruz takes a chance.
So a ball inches fair down the third baseline. Now this one inches fair and inches outside the reach of Nelson Cruz. Miguel Cabrera scores. It's 4-2 Tigers. Runner at third, nobody out. And more breathing room is what Jim Leland is looking for with Verlander starting to run out of gas.
Consider this. Victor Martinez had 1 triple the last 3 years.
That's down the left field line and foul. Delman Young has already homered in this game, and this was hit hard, but hooked.
For this one game, things are turning for the Tigers.
There's no doubt. Even the ball hit by Adrian Beltre down the right field line.
Yeah.
That is hammered. Way back and gone. Delman Young has made it a 4-run game.
How good an inning has this been for Detroit? 4 hitters, and they have hit for the cycle. Single, double, triple, home run. 4-run lead.
Bottom of the 6th, and now Peralta still nobody out. Strike 2.
You know, the shoe's on the other foot now. Now it's time for Ron Washington to save his bullpen in a 4-run game.
Travel day tomorrow. Jim Leland's buddy Tony La Russa would call this if the Tigers win it And they don't have to use Benoit or Valverde like a doubleheader win. You get the victory and you get rest for a weary bullpen with potential of 2 days off with the travel day on Friday. Here's a 1-2.
All that's left.
2-2. Broken back, fly ball into left. Murphy makes the catch. Peralta's 0 for 3. Here's the home run. Watch the bench reaction. Tim, consider the Delman Young as Phil Coke reacts. One ball, one strike. Consider that Delman Young wasn't even on the roster until Maglio Ordonez re-broke his ankle in Texas.
That's right.
And then he was added to the active list, hoping to get a game or two out of him. He's homered to put Detroit on top in the 4th. And now he's hit a 2-run shot to make it a 6-2 game in the 6th.
You know, you had a comment for Jim Leland at the beginning of our meeting. You said, Delman Young's moving around a lot better. And Jim said, yeah, he almost hit 2 home runs yesterday. Well, he's hit 2 home runs in today's game.
Time called.
Think about this inning. I mean, the rain and how things are all distorted from the Rangers' viewpoint. They had the bases loaded and 1 out. The double play ends it. And now they score 4 in the bottom half of the inning.
Aided by a ball off the bag.
Yeah.
Ball 3, 3-1 on Brandon Inge. Delman Young strained his oblique in Game 5 of the division series, was not on the active roster for the LCS. He joined the team in essence when they had to deactivate Maglio Ordonez. The walk continues the trouble for C.J. Wilson, who has sprung a leak here in the 6th. Here's Avila, who broke through tonight with a game-tying home run back in the 3rd.
Sure, it's going through Jim Leland's mind right now, saying let's score some more runs, or thinking let's score some more runs so I can get Verlander out of the game, and maybe if it goes 7, bring Verlander in for relief. Maybe.
Strike 1 on Avila. It's going to be interesting either way to see who takes the mound in the 7th.
It is.
Hey, it's raining. Here's the 0-1. Strike 2. The top of the inning, Verlander induced the double play with a bases loaded 1 out. Off the bat of Ian Kinsler, who's been hot. That got him out of the jam, kept it 2-2. And in the bottom of this 6th inning, The Tigers have broken loose. That's strike 3. And out number 2. Strikeout number 5 for C.J. Wilson. It will bring in Santiago, who's 2 for 2. We were calling for a chance of rain at 6:30. Coming up on 7 o'clock, and it's just starting to spit. Ball 1 high. One on, 2 out. 1-1 the count. Strike 2. A single followed by a double, then a triple, then a home run. Elvis Andrus flips and the inning is over. How about this inning for Detroit? What happened in the top half? That third base bag. The ball hit by Cabrera, off it. The ball just out of the reach of Nelson Cruz, and then this one out of the reach of everybody. Off the bat of Young. Tigers up 4. Back after this from your local Fox station. Strike 1 over the outside part to Andrus. We're underway in the 7th. Elvis 1 for 3. Hamilton will be next, and then Michael Young. 6-2 Tigers trying to get this series back to Texas. Down 3 games to 1 here in game 5. Ball 1. $115 pitches on the night for Verlander, the 24-game winner. Broken back. Peralta, he's been automatic this postseason. 1 out. Geico in-game box score for the Rangers. Kinsler with a double, 2 runs scored. Andrus has a single. Hamilton 2 RBIs. Adrian Beltre is 0 for 3, but he made a loud out with a couple of men on back in the 5th. Double down there by David Murphy, but he was erased in a double play to end the 6th inning. The bases loaded, 1 out.
And Joe, it was that 6th inning like a tourniquet to turn off the blood flow of the Rangers temporarily.
Josh Hamilton now 1 out, nobody on. Off the end of the bat, strike 1.
Change in a hurry, can it?
That's why this game is unlike any other. It's all pointed in the direction of the Texas Rangers, and it flipped. With 1 pitch, 1 double play ball, and 1 ball off the bag.
Yep.
1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers hit the first natural cycle in order, single, double, triple homer in postseason history in the bottom of the 6th. Going to the off-speed stuff is Verlander, a changeup, strike 2. Reaching for a despoil it is Hamilton. They chant MVP here in Detroit. Do you think we're looking at the AL MVP?
I think he's the MVP. A lot of people say that pitchers shouldn't be, but as long as they're on the ballot, they should be included.
Hamilton strikes out. That's number 7.
That's why Verlander can pitch so deep into so many games. He's got ancillary pitches on which to go. 3 straight changeups get Hamilton.
Remember, once Jim Leland makes that call to the bullpen, he walks a tightrope. Michael Young, ball 1.
In all probability, from what Jim told us before the game, he will make that move after this inning.
But if that's the case, then he's got Verlander not available anymore, Benoit and Valverde, and you know what the Rangers are capable of doing up and down this lineup. But Verlander's in charge right now. Time to stretch in game 5. And the ace of this staff, baseball's best, is doing all he can to send this act to Arlington. Tigers lead by 4. We go into the bottom of the 7th. Austin Jackson has struck out 3 times, strike 1. Ken Rosenthal, what are you sensing down there with regard to Verlander, who is at 123 pitches on the night?
Joe, when he came off the mound and into the dugout, he did not look like a guy who was coming out of the game. He had his game face on. He went right down into the clubhouse. Jim Leland, meanwhile, pacing up and down the dugout, yelling at his players, keep going, keep playing, add on.
A 1-1. They're trying to do it now against a guy who has really struggled, Uehara.
Yeah, Ken, reporting that to add on, you're not only trying to add on to solidify your lead over a very tough offense, but again to take Verlander out of the game so he could perhaps come back on Sunday if it goes that far. So all sorts of things implicated here in the last couple of innings.
The 4th time Austin Jackson has struck out. And it brings in Ryan Rayburn, whose 2-strike single started the 4-run rally last inning. In the air, well hit into right. At the wall. Gone. Ryan Rayburn makes it a 5-run game in the 7th. And another home run given up by Uehara. This is the 8th home run allowed by Uehara in his last 24 games.
Cool.
Now he bounces one then in there to Cabrera. You can see Brandon Inge say, get some legs, grow feet. And it crawled on out of here. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cabrera.
Get air under it.
Well, then he said something else, and I'll just stop at the first 2.
Well, there are many ways to call it still a home run.
Rayburn gets his 2nd of this ALCS, and he's been a valuable guy to the injury to Ordonez. Brennan Bosch, who went out with a thumb injury, a ligament issue, missed the last month of the season, was a big piece of this Tiger team. It's another injury nobody talks about. Another bat the Tigers lost down the stretch. 3-1 on Cabrera. There's a Bosch fan. With 1 out, nobody on. 1-run home. 5-run lead. A walk from Uehara. Miguel Cabrera is on base for the 3rd straight time. Mike Maddox will go out and talk with Victor Martinez coming up. I was struck, Tim, by what you said the other day, and I had never noticed it, but when we went in to talk to that man right there, Jim Leland, who's in his 6th postseason, he was looser today than he has been at any other point that we've talked to him, and his team is facing elimination here tonight as he's talking to Rick Porcello.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, but the point about Jim Leland is, as you said, in the tighter spots, he loosens up and lets his team know that everything's okay.
He's more vocal in the clubhouse. He's more vocal in the dugout. And when they're up, he's a lot tougher. But Leo DeRocher was a lot like that. He was tougher to play for when he was on top. And he was a much better guy when things were averse. And Leland the same way.
Victor Martinez looking to pound it, and he pops it up. Two out. And the batter will be Don Kelly. Today's game on Fox sponsored by Fiat and by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? We continue in the bottom of the 7th. Don Kelly gets his first at bat. Napoli will trot out and talk about what they plan on doing with Kelly in his first at bat of the game. Don took over for Delman Young, who homered twice. As the lefty Mike Gonzalez gets loose. And now Gonzalez is coming in. Not wanting to fall any further behind, a pitching change. Gonzalez will enter. Kelly's coming up 2 out in the 7th. The team facing elimination tonight leads by 5. Fox tonight, the X Factor is all new as the contestants learn who their mentors are. When second with 2 out for Don Kelly.
It's a smart base running play. Cabrera realizing that the first baseman was playing behind him, and it's a stolen base for Cabrera. Ranger defense was not indifferent there at all, and he surprised them.
It's his 2nd steal of the postseason. But the X Factor is coming up just about right after baseball here tonight. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. There's strike number 2.
Well, the X Factor in this game has been the third base bag.
There's no doubt. What that led to, it was looking at just like a double play ball to the left side, and it turned into an RBI double. Here's Kelly into right. Back at the track. Cruz hauls it in to end the inning. Kelly didn't get it all. We go to the 8th inning. Sailing terminology on Cape Horn, the bottom tip of South America. The only way to get between oceans before the Panama Canal was completed in the early 1900s.
Vasco da Gama, right?
Don't look at me and ask that.
Magellan. Magellan, that was it.
1 ball, no strikes to Beltre leading off. Verlander now is at 125 pitches on the night.
And the high for the year against Boston, 132 pitches.
He was really helped by a 10-pitch 7th. Of course, he had a lot to do with that. Phil Koch he's thrown a complete game in the bullpen.
It was helped by that 10-pitch 7th, but that double play ball down the third baseline that Brandon Inge fielded. Biggest defensive play for the Tigers tonight by far.
Beltre is 0 for 3. He's hit the ball hard all night, and now he strikes out. Changeup got him 1 away. Strikeout number 8.
Notice how Verlander has gone to his changeup the last 2 innings. Retiring the side in the 6th inning. And now the leadoff hitter here in the 8th. Or in the 7th, I should say. Now here in the 8th.
Napoli Walked and singled. Strike one. First round pick, Justin Verlander, second overall. Back in June of 2004. Came up in 05. And has won 17, 18, 11, 19, 18, and 24 here in 2011.
And you may ask yourself, wait a minute. Justin Verlander was second in the overall pick. Who was number one? It was a player who was a shortstop who is now a pitcher. His name is Matt Bush. B-U-S-H. Signed with the Padres. Turned into a pitcher, now pitching for Tampa Bay.
Napoli is on with one out. And now that Verlander's at 130, we'll see if that's it.
That's Tampa Bay, their Double-A affiliate. In Montgomery, he has never pitched or played in the major leagues. Can you imagine Matt Bush for the rest of his life? He'll walk around saying, I was chosen before Justin Verlander.
And Verlander is pitching to try to get through this eighth. Nelson Cruz at the plate, 1 on, 1 out. Cruz is 0 for 3. On deck is Murphy. This could be it for Verlander. Left-handed batters coming up. Strike one. And if this is it, and he's taken out in the middle of an inning, and if you think you've heard a crowd appreciate a pitching effort before with a guy leaving the mound, you may have a new standard set tonight. 99 on pitch 132. This will set a new career high with 133 pitches. Fly ball down the left field line. Cruz has another. A 2-run shot by Nelson Cruz. And that makes it a 7-4 game here in the eighth. That is home run number 5 for Nelson Cruz. He has hit every home run the Rangers have hit in this series.
If you watch closely, folks, you'll see how a 100-mile-an-hour fastball is turned around.
Now you can listen. Available in this game. That may be tested before we're finished. Strike one on David Murphy. 96 from the lefty Koch. Koch started this year as a starting pitcher. Now he's throwing hard out of the bullpen for Detroit, former Yankee. Strike two, good pitch. Brad Penny on the right, Ryan Perry on the left, two right-handers. Back to Koch. 2 out. A 100-mile pitch, 100-mile-per-hour pitch that was knocked out of the park. And Nelson Cruz was aware that that was a 100-mile-per-hour pitch.
Look at Verlander looking. I mean, he's zeroed in on Cruz. And I'll tell you, if I just gave up a home run, I don't care how hard I threw it, and a hitter gave me that, I'm going to get upset. Now, I don't know if he was. That's an upsetting gesture, I think. Don't know.
Ravit Torrealba will come off the bench and bat for Moreland. And Torrealba, who has been the starter the last 2 games, with a single last night, 3 hits in game 3. Gets the nod here. Ball 1 outside. Koch is throwing hard, and here's Verlander's reaction. After Nelson Cruz hit that home run off the foul pole down the left field line. Here's a 1-0. Strike 1. Here's the next. Pulled the string. That's strike 2. Top of the order will bat again for the Rangers before the end of this game. Koch trying to keep it a 3-run lead. Good pitch, good work, Phil Koch. Picks up where Verlander left off. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers bat up 3. And Mike Adams is on the mound, trying to keep it a 3-run game and trying to keep it within reach. 7-4. Detroit. Peralta first up. Ball 1. The Rangers will have the top of their lineup in the 9th. Kinsler, Andrus, and Hamilton, it appears for now, against Koch. Peralta 0 for 3 tonight. Broke his bat and lined out to left his last time up. Breaking ball stays inside. 2-0. Two and 1. Brandon Inge, Avila, the next 2 hitters. Koch with a jacket on and trying to stay warm. He's jumping around jittery on that bench. Sure can't wait to get back out there. 2-1. Fastball 2-2. Here is a 2-2 pitch. Fouled out of play off to the right. Prior to last night, the Tigers had never blown a lead of 2 or more runs in the 6th inning or later during the postseason. That happened last night. They'll carry at least a 3-run lead into the 9th inning tonight. 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Playoffs continue tonight on TBS with Game 4 of the NLCS. Kyle Loesch, Randy Wolf. That's at 8 o'clock on TBS, 5 Pacific, and then if necessary Saturday night. We're on the air at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific with Game 6 of the ALCS. That'll be from Arlington, Texas. And if we do play on Saturday night, the Rangers will be leading 3 games to 2. Here's Inge. Strike 1. One out, nobody on, and a base hit into left. Inge, who homered last night, is on with 1 out in the 8th. Here's Avila. Homered, he's grounded out and struck out. First pitch, strike 1, inside corner.
How have the Tigers done it tonight with a long ball? 4 home runs. And coming in the first 4 games of this LCS, they only had 5 home runs.
And the 4 home runs tonight by the Tigers is the most in franchise history in a postseason game. Last one hit by that guy, Rayburn, the opposite way. Avila might be 2. Napoli starts it, and the guy who started this game at catcher turns a nice 3-6-3 double play. That sends this one Game 5 into the 9th. Phil Koch back to the hill. Top of the order coming up. Detroit leads by 3. A former Yankee involved in that 3-way deal. The Diamondbacks, Tigers, and Yankees prior to last season deals with Kinsler. And he is really throwing well. Strike 1.
Phil Koch in the bullpen was the most vocal after the Delman Young home run.
And he is going about 100 miles an hour out there on the mound right now. The 0-1. Fly ball into center. Back to grab it, Austin Jackson. 1 away. That'll bring in Elvis Andrus, who's 1 for 4.
Jim Leyland's thinking right now is, what if Andrus gets on base and Josh Hamilton gets on base? I'm not going to leave Phil Koch in to pitch to Michael Young. So which right-hander do I bring in? And he's not using Benoit or Valverde.
He's got Penny and Perry. Penny, the far guy. Ryan Perry, I think, is the more logical choice, the near guy.
I agree with you.
Penny, a starter. Koch off the mound. Spins and throws, 2 out. Our outing plays of the game. The natural cycle, base hit, double for an RBI. Triple by Victor Martinez out of the reach of Cruz. Delman Young, goodbye. First time in postseason history, a natural cycle, single, double, triple homer in the same inning. Brought to you by the Audi A8. True greatness should never go unrecognized. And true greatness, Verlander got the start tonight for Detroit. Phil Koch deals with Hamilton, ball one, down and in. One out away from a game 6. Into center field. Austin Jackson on the move, will not get there. This ball bangs up against the wall, and Hamilton has his second hit of the night. And now the Rangers are one base runner away from bringing up the tying run.
So Jim Leyland still has some room. He can allow Koch to pitch to Michael Young, but with Beltre up there, does he dare leave the left-hander in to pitch to Beltre, who would be representing the tying run?
Michael Young at the plate. Apprehension here in this park. Young 1 for 4.
That home run by Ryan Rayburn looks rather large right now, too. Tack on home run.
That made it 7-2. Now it's 7-4. Runner at second, 2 out. Line drive is a base hit into right. More drama. Hamilton comes to the plate, and now the tying run will be at home plate in the person of Adrian Beltre, as Michael Young gets the RBI single the opposite way.
And I agree with you, Joe. Again, Perry's got to be the pitcher. No way you bring Brad Penny in for his first appearance of the LCS. Tying run coming up.
Unless they leave Koch on the mound.
Well, that's what they're going to do, because here comes Jeff Jones, and he does not make the pitching changes. Jim Leyland does. A whole different defensive situation here. Brandon Inge will be on the line now to guard against the double. The outfielders will be a little deeper. Totally different situation than the prior 2 hitters, Hamilton and Young, because the tying run is at the plate right now.
Remember, Adrian Beltre in the 5th inning came awfully close to a 3-run shot as this ball just dived foul and then hit a blast into center. It was caught well over 400 feet away. That was in a 2-2 game. Now it's 7-5 and a ball outside. Beltre could tie it with 1 swing. He hit 32 home runs during the regular season. He has 3 this postseason, all in the clinching game in St. Pete against the Rays a couple of Tuesdays ago. Strike 1. Leyland is trying to end this game without his closer. Valverde. It was saved 54 straight. Outside, ball 2. Phil Koch trying to end it. Beltre trying to extend it. Ball 3. On deck is Napoli. And if he bats, he'll represent the go-ahead run. That'll put 2 on with 2 out.
Now you have to have a pinch runner for Beltre. It'll probably be Esteban Herman, because Beltre can't run because of his at-bat 2 nights ago. You've got to run for him.
Ron Washington did not run for him in Arlington, and it doesn't look like he's going to run for him now.
Well, in Arlington, he didn't have what he has now. He's got a bad knee. He hammered a ball off both legs 2 nights ago. Was limping last night. Limping less tonight, but can he run, representing the tying run?
Napoli takes ball 1 outside. Phil Koch wants to know if that pitch was down or away, and the home plate umpire, Jeff Nelson, said away.
Jim Leyland telling us before the game he was going to roll the dice tonight with Verlander and Koch, and he has.
Here comes a 1-0. Napoli grounds to Santiago. We're headed to Texas. This series has been thrilling throughout, and it continues through 5 games of this ALCS.
Koch recorded 5 outs and looks like he pitched a complete game.
And so the Texas Rangers will head home with a 3-2 advantage in this LCS. But the fans here in Detroit got exactly what they hoped to get coming into this stadium. And the force out at second ends the night as Phil Koch gets the save for Verlander, who was outstanding here tonight. In his 10th season as general manager, Dave Dombrowski, who won it all with Jim Leyland with the '97 Marlins, exhaling Jim Leyland with congratulations for Phil Koch, who did the job tonight. And the Tigers win it 7-5 as we welcome you to the Chevrolet ALCS postgame show on Fox. Let's go down to Kenny.
Thanks, Joe. Miguel, have you ever hit a ball off the third base bag like that?
Yeah, before, yeah. I think we was lucky right there. We got a good rally right there. They started rallying right there. We scored a lot of runs right there.
Now, you were talking to Beltre, you were talking to Elvis after that. What were you saying?
I was joking with it. I would say we're going to go to Texas, you know. But it was like, we got to play like a lot of innings over there. I was like, not sure, but, you know, we got to play hard. We got to take one day at a time. We're going to Texas, man. We go out there and play hard and see what happens.
What about Justin?
Oh, you know, he was unbelievable all year for us. We know he's going to keep us in the game. We wait for make a good rally for him, and he got it win, man.
How confident are you going to Texas?
You know, we need a lot of confidence, you know, because we're going to play in the road. We got first day with the Yankees. We win over there. So we believe we can do it. We believe we can play hard over there. We believe we can play good base over there. You know, we face a tough team. Hopefully we can win over there too, man.
Miguel, thank you very much. Good aim.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you.
Yeah, no doubt. Right off the bag. And that ball that hit off the base led to big trouble for Texas. And 4 runs in that 6th inning. The result as the Detroit Bats came alive and they forced game 6. And Kenny's busy down there. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Phil Koch, you were the last man in the bullpen, the only man in the bullpen. Anything different today about the way you prepared?
Just the fact that I knew what was going to happen ahead of time. I knew Bird was going deep, and I mean, I didn't know I was going in the 8th inning. I thought he was going to cruise through 8. So for him to go out there and do the job they did and be able to turn it over to us out there, and the fact that I was, as you said, the lone guy out there, you know, I mean, I was just really happy to be able to come in and get the job done.
When did Leland tell you his plan?
Before the game, before I got that stand up to cancer pin from you.
Okay, now you seemed awfully amped on the mound. You're always amped, but how different was this situation?
It's win or go home, literally. And for us to come back and do what we did tonight, I mean, that just shows you that we want it. We want it. We're not just going to roll over. We want it. And the fact that I was able to be the last guy on the mound, that was pretty special.
Now, it got a little lively there in the 9th. What was going on?
Just trying to make it interesting, man. No, not really. The couple of balls that were hit by Hamilton and the one by Young, they ran back over the middle. They were supposed to be away, and I missed my location. And you know, they did what good hitters do, and they put the ball in play in a spot where we didn't have a chance for them. So for those two guys to come up big for their team the way they did, and then you know, to be able to finish the game off was just, you know, it was huge.
Now, what do you think? Going to Texas, this team has defied the odds in this series. What's next?
Defy them some more. Keep defying the odds, man. That's what we got to do. You know, we didn't come all this way for nothing.
All right, Phil, thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. My first time with
Joe, back to you.
All right, Phil Koch, so he's able to joke around at the end of what was a pretty treacherous 9th inning. And as we welcome you inside our booth, I'm Joe. That's a maniacal look you have on your face.
Oh, no. What a game.
What a series. Oh, it's unbelievable how these games have transpired and how everything has been so tight. Ken went through a stat earlier in the game. I mean, nothing has been easy theoretically at any point in this series, and heck, even the 9th inning, you get 2 more runs on the board in the 8th, a run in the 9th, and what looked like was going to be an easy roll through the end of this game is anything but.
And I tell you, Joe, I'm still scratching my head a little bit with Ron Washington not pinch running for Adrian Beltre. I mean, here's a guy who was limping night before last because of hammering balls off his legs, limping last night, running better tonight, but I mean, still there are guys on the bench who were faster than Beltre.
Special guest standing by with Ken Rosenthal. Ken.
Thanks, Joe. We're here with Justin Verlander. Justin, when you came off the mound in the 7th, it appeared that there was no way you were coming out of the game. What was your mindset at that point?
That was the mindset. You know, I didn't even talk to Skip, didn't even look at him. You know, I don't want to give him the opportunity to take me out of the game. You know, I want the ball. I knew Joaquin and Valverde were down. You know, I want the ball. I want to go as deep as possible. If I had my way, I was, you know, going to stay out there all night. But, you know, it was a battle for me all night. I knew it was going to be. You know, I haven't quite had my rhythm this playoffs, kind of, you know, 1 inning at a time. And I get 1 full start and another 4 innings. So I know that I don't have that platform to kind of, you know, get my rhythm going. But found it a little bit there. In the 6th and 7th, and that allowed me to go back out there for the 8th. Unfortunately, you know, made 1 mistake to Cruz, and he did what he's done all series. You got to be careful of that guy right now. But, you know, 1 game at a time right now.
Now, you were staring into the dugout after you came out of the game, their dugout, and you're looking at Cruz, it seemed like. What was going on there?
Oh, nothing. Nothing was going on. You know, he hit it. It hit the foul pole, so, you know, I don't mind him standing at home plate a little bit. I made a mistake. He hit it. You know, that's the name of the game. I wasn't staring him down at all.
How tired were you in that final inning?
Felt good. You know, the reason my velocity was down the last couple innings, besides the last couple pitches, I was trying to get deeper in the game, trying to force some early action, trying to keep my pitch count down, just trying to hit my spots. And that's when I really felt like I started to find my rhythm a little bit. Hopefully that carries over. Hopefully I have another start. Game 1 of the World Series.
Looking back, that double play was huge.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that, and just from the way the game went from there?
Well, you know, this is a game of momentum, and you know, that was obviously a huge double play for us. We come right back and score. So, you know, to be able to get out of that, there's a couple big spots tonight that I was able to make my pitch and get out of. And that's the name of the game. When you don't have your good rhythm and you don't feel as good as you can, and you're not hitting your spots as much as you can all night. The key to that is when there's guys on base, you're able to make your pitch. And, you know, I made my pitch to Kinsler there and got a big double play.
Now, I know the answer to this question, but should you get to Game 7, will you be available in relief?
Yes.
How strong?
Who knows? I'm sure I'll be plenty strong.
All right, Justin, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Joe, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kenny. So we will take a break. Fans will leave here having seen another great game in this 2011 ALCS. Chris Rose and the guys on the other side of the break. This ALCS breathes on. Back to Arlington we go. Back after this.
Sending 1-0 to the Rangers, but come back to force a Game 6 on Saturday in Texas with Rod Allen. I'm Mickey York, and Rod, the Tigers were supposedly standing on their last leg, and literally a few guys were. Delman Young hurting, Victor Martinez hurting, Alex Avila hurting. They all come up huge today.
You got that right, Mick. First and foremost, we're going to talk about Alex Avila. Here's a guy that hurt his knee, early in the Yankee series, but he been battling through that. He stepped up, big hitter day. He came up and he tied the score with a home run against a left-hander, C.J. Wilson. It's a fastball up. He doesn't try to do too much. He's got tremendously quick hands, and he drives the ball into the Tigers' bullpen. This, for me, was the at-bat of the game. It's a runner on second. There's nobody out. Victor tough to strike out. He was going to get Cabrera over no matter what, and he got rewarded by driving him in and also getting himself a triple, and he was fired up. D.Y. hit 2 home runs in the game today. One he went down and got, and the other one he climbed the ladder and got on top of and whistled into the bullpen as well. So you see one low, you see one high. That's bat range. Tremendous job today by Delman Young. Really good job as well by Victor Martinez and also Alex Avila. All those guys really stepped up here today.
And the 6th inning was the turning point in this game. And it seems like we say that almost every game. The 6 innings have been huge for both teams in this series. But for the Tigers to get out of that bases-loaded jam in the top of the 6th absolutely sent them on the way, maybe set them up for that big bottom half of the 6th.
There's no doubt about that. Justin Verlander really starting to mature, and we've seen him mature. He had Moreland up. There was runners on second and third. He clearly pitched around the number 9 hitter, Moreland, to bring up Kinsler, who had already been doing some damage in this series, and then he gets the 5 unassisted double play over to first base by Brandon Inge. So very nice job by Verlander getting out of that jam.
And then the Tigers come back and hit for that natural cycle in the bottom half of the 6th. We'll have much more on Game 6 after Red Wings coverage completes tonight. An hour-long Tigers Live comes your way after hockey. Rod and Mario will be here in studio. We'll bring you all kinds of reaction from the clubhouse and the post-game podium.